Hi, everyone. Happy Thursday night. I normally see you guys on Fridays, but we're switching it up a little bit this time. I'm Brittany Curran, and we took a little break, but now we're back. And I'm here for another Create Career Conversations. Today, my guest is the wonderful Adam Roberts. He is a prolific food blogger, food writer, TV writer. He was a writer on that show, The Real O'Neills. And he is a very, very awesome, hilarious, successful foodie gentleman. And so we're going to be chatting tonight. First, I want to just pin a comment really quick because a big reason why we do these chats is to support arts education. There we go. I pinned it. Okay. Is to support an arts education in California schools. And we can all make a difference literally by going to createca.org. I just posted the link in the pinned comment down below. And after this chat, you can go to createca.org and you can sign the pledge. And we can actually get a fully comprehensive arts education in California schools. So let's say hi to Adam. I have a good internet connection.
Oh.
Okay. Hi, Adam.
How's it going?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I feel like you're well framed. I'm trying to make sure I don't have like too much of a head in the shot. But I think we're
I was doing the same thing. I always worried that I'm going to be like up here, down here. And so I think we're both framed magnificently.
okay. Good. Right here.
I love that bookcase behind you.
Oh, these are all my cookbooks. So.
Oh, cool.
This is actually appropriate for education. This is the Betty Crocker cookbook for boys and girls.
Oh, I love that.
Ah, there you go.
Oh my God. How many books do you have published?
Published? Well, I've only
Or like books, and however you say it in the book world.
Oh, well, I've written 2 books. I have my first book was a book of essays called The Amateur Gourmet, which was about learning how to cook and just sort of, learning how to hold a knife, learning how to just like cook in the kitchen and go to the farmer's market and do all that kind of stuff. And my second book was called Secrets of the Best Chefs. And that one I got to travel the country and cook with 50 different chefs who taught me all kinds of recipes and techniques. And I got to cook with Jose Andres and
oh, wow.
Waters and all these really cool people. So it was pretty amazing. And
what a dream.
Yeah.
That's so cool. But then you have more books too, right? Like what was you said are all of those behind you your books?
That I wrote? No.
Okay, that makes more sense. I was like, how is that possible for one human being?
It's my cookbook collection. These are like cookbooks that I collect.
That makes way more sense.
Yeah, I was like, wow, I wonder how many books he thinks I wrote. No.
I was like, there's like 30 books back there. How is that possible?
No, I don't think anyone can write that many books, but
that's what I thought. I was like, but I guess I met the first like incredibly young person still to do such a thing. When did you write your first book?
That's a good question. Well, let's see. I think it was about 2006, so it was a long time ago. I was in grad school for playwriting, actually, and I had a food blog that had become really popular, and so I was able to parlay that into a book deal. And,
that's awesome.
Yeah, so when I graduated school, I was able to write a book, and then after that, I wrote the second book was a couple of years later. So yeah, that's awesome. All began. Yeah, totally.
And you didn't start, or maybe you did when you were really younger, but your school journey didn't start in art, right? You started as a law student? Is that correct?
You have my full biography. You must know somebody on the inside.
I read up a little bit, and I kind of know somebody on the inside.
Yeah. Yeah, I went to law school sort of for all the wrong reasons. I went to sort of please my parents. I mean, I was thinking a lot about this because I know we're talking about arts education, and yeah. I went to undergrad, when I went to college, I was a creative writing major, and I loved it, and it was like my favorite thing in the world was to study creative writing. But when I graduated college, I didn't really know what to do with that or how to use it, so I went to law school thinking that I would just become a lawyer. And that ended up being actually not a great decision. It was not a great fit. And so
Yeah.
law school is when I learned about playwriting school, that there was actually a grad school for that. So NYU has a dramatic writing program. And so I wrote a
Oh,
play
cool.
and I submitted it there, and I luckily got in. And when I was there, I learned TV writing, film writing, playwriting. So, I had like a weird detour, and then it kind of led me on the right path eventually.
It's a pretty cool detour, though. I
Well,
love that it's like I'm a screenwriter and a food writer, and also I kind of know law a lot.
it's
I
funny. Yeah, I mean, my personality, like, people are always surprised that I went to law school because it's not something that, like, once you get to know me, it's like not the way my brain works, but it's really
yeah.
bizarre because I have a part of my brain that still like knows the elements of a tort and like understands like what's required to do a contract. Like, it's all bizarre, like, weird knowledge that's in my brain somewhere.
That's cool. I feel
But
like having knowledge about law, though, is never like wasted knowledge. That's probably just a good thing to have, like,
honestly,
back there just in case.
for me, like, going to law school was more about hating it so much that it made me realize that if I'm going to be creative, like, I have to do something now or I'm going to be missing
Yeah,
my life. So it actually inspired me to like do something to kind of
that's
come up
awesome because you like felt what it was like to not like put most of your life towards creativity, and it made you realize that you needed creativity.
It was. I mean,
That makes sense.
it felt like almost having an organ put into your body that doesn't take, like having
Yeah,
a transplant. And I was like, this does not feel
your
right.
body was just rejecting law school.
Yeah, it did. So luckily, like, and that's actually where I learned how to cook. I grew up in a family where nobody cooked, so there wasn't a lot of food or cooking. And then when I went to law school, I would come home every night and watch the Food Network, and I would
Oh, cool.
detox watching it, and that's where I started to get interested in cooking and food. And so that was the beginning of the whole journey, was going to law school and being unhappy.
Well, it's good that that happened then.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, sometimes you kind of have to go to a dark place.
Absolutely. I'm sorry. My puppy is pawing at the door and it's obnoxiously loud, and I need to stop her really, really quick. Otherwise, she's going to keep going. Sorry, Emmy.
I think, yeah.
Sorry.
My dog is with us right now, taking
My
a
bad.
nap.
Oh, yeah, dog shot. Oh, what's your dog's name?
Winston. His name's Winston. Winston, say hi.
Oh, wait, that's right. Winston. I knew
Matt.
that.
Yeah.
Matt
Oh,
told me.
sorry. I didn't mean to derail the conversation.
Oh, always derail any conversation if it's about dogs.
Okay, happily.
They deserve more attention than any of us, so just know that going forward.
True, yes. He's a great...
So growing up in grade school, was arts a part of you said you didn't have a cooking family, but was arts a part of your life growing up at home or in school? Did that inspire you in any way when you did decide to change your major, your school?
Totally. I mean, my dad plays the piano. My family loved going to theater, and so I saw a lot of musicals growing up. And when I was in
Cool.
elementary school, I mean, we did all kinds of school plays. I was in Cats in second grade. I played
That's awesome.
Mr. Mistopheles. But I mean, when I think about arts education, I just think about all my teachers who were so creative and who really drew out the creativity, like, and it was always something that I adored and loved. And so, like, getting to be in Cats, as silly as that was like a really meaningful experience to me. And and like any opportunity that my teachers had to like let me do creative writing or read like extracurricular, like that all like set the stage for everything that came later. So it was all pretty.
That makes sense. I get it. I played a chicken in a school play. I think also in second grade. It would have been first or second.
Okay.
It wasn't in like a big production like Cats. It was like some made up play that my school in Cape Cod just made up, and I don't remember anything about it other than I was a chicken.
Were you a good?
What's that?
Did you do like method acting? Like, were you a good chicken?
God, no, I wish I love the idea of like 7-year-old Brittany doing method acting as a chicken, and now I really feel like I missed an opportunity to like amuse my parents on to no end. Damn, missed opportunity.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was like little things like that, and that's years before I was a professional actor. That really incites you and inspires you in ways that you don't even know at the time. And same with creative writing too. Like, I remember I got like a paper that was definitely in second grade into some like competition that I won something. And that was so inspiring to me. And now that I think about it, I think that was like one of the first times that I was like, I should write. Like, I'm good at this, I
Yeah.
think, and I really love to do it. And
Have that
and
opportunity.
just like the encouragement from teachers means a lot.
Absolutely. And, and I think about those teachers a lot now in my adult life, like, just having us read like Toni Morrison in high school and just like his
Yes.
really cool things. And then, really got me excited about literature and reading and all that
Yeah.
stuff really has a huge effect later on. So,
And I love it because you have put together food, which is one of my favorite things, because obviously I'm not a psychopath, and writing, which is also happens to be one of my favorite things.
great.
But you also are, you're a TV writer now. You wrote on the ABC show The Real O'Neills,
It's, yeah,
correct?
that's right. Yeah. I wrote
Good.
for, yeah,
I
totally.
love like I ask questions and I'm like telling you what you do, and I'm like, oh, this feels weird. I'm like telling and asking at the same time. It feels a little awkward.
I host a podcast and I'm always asking tons of questions. So it's really fun to like have the tables turned a little bit. So I love it.
Oh, good. I'm so glad.
Yeah.
Now I can be the one asking by telling you what you do.
um,
How?
for the Real O'Neills on ABC. So as I said, like I'd gone to grad school for writing and for dramatic writing, but that sounds dramatic, but it was comedy. I did comedy writing in dramatic writing school, and so
Okay,
I
yeah.
had a bunch of samples. And my husband Craig is a filmmaker, so we moved out here for his career. And I was just going to be a food writer, but once I got to Hollywood, it was sort of like living in a theme park and not going on the rides. It was sort of like
That's a good way of putting it.
yeah, so I was like, well, I'm kind of curious. So I kind of got an agent. I mean, I had a sample, and luckily I had a connection to this show because Dan Savage, the columnist, the producer, and I had written an essay for his It Gets Better book about cooking a dinner for my parents and my husband for the first time. So I had that connection, which got me the meeting, and I got staffed. And it was pretty incredible. It was sort of just like my very first job interview in LA to get on a
That
and I got the
is
job.
not how it happens. For anyone watching,
Yeah, and
that was incredible. That's incredible.
I've learned on the other end it's much harder to get staffed than I realized. But in that moment, I didn't realize. I was like, oh, this is pretty easy. You just like wander
How
in.
would you know?
Yeah. But it was really cool, and I got to write 3 episodes of the show, and
That's awesome.
be on set, and we worked with Martha Plimpton and Noah Galvin, and a bunch of really cool people. So it was fantastic.
That's so cool. And were you able? Did you still work on your food writing at the time, or you were probably super busy? So
It's actually very funny you should say that because like when I was a food blogger, I would always say to people like, "There's no excuse for not cooking after work. Like just come home and throw a chicken in the oven and like make a salad. It's not hard." And I would come home from like 10 hours in the writer's room and I'd, like calling, ordering in, and I would never cook. So no,
totally.
I just like stopped food blogging for a couple of years, and only recently did I kind of find a way to like pick it back up again while still doing screenwriting and TV writing. Like I'm doing a bunch of stuff right now, but the difference is that like most of the stuff I'm working on now is behind the scenes and nobody's ever going to see it. So with a food blog, like I can just put recipes out there and connect with people, and it's great.
That's such a good combination, though, is because like the filmmaking side of things takes so long usually. So to be able to like, use that part of yourself while also getting the like much more, immediate satisfaction of
Totally.
getting the work out there with another thing that you love is brilliant. And honestly, everyone should do that, and I should learn from that.
Well, I bet you get that with like Instagram and stuff, right? I mean, like, having like an immediate like thing to post.
Yeah, but that's probably not healthy immediate, I'm like, I should post this picture of myself and see how many likes I like. And then like, my brain is going all crazy about it, and it's probably not healthy. But yes, it is immediate.
Yeah. Totally.
I've worked on sets, as an actor for like 20 years now, and we do really crazy hours. I mean, obviously, but I've started shadowing some writers' rooms because I'm trying to transition into acting and like writing and producing and that side of things. And it's amazing because like with acting, we will have like 16-hour days sometimes that are really, really intense. But like just being in the writer's room for a few hours at a time while I'm just watching and not coming up with the ideas, I'm literally just like taking notes of what everyone's doing. Like it is like a constant, like your brain is going constantly, and it must be exhausting. And I'm
Oh
just
yeah.
really glad that it made you realize that not everyone can make a damn roast. Oh, I don't know if I'm supposed to swear. A darn roast at the end of the night.
That's fine. I'm not offended. It's funny because like I
Oh,
think
you're a TV writer. I know you're not offended.
I'm not offended. It's interesting because I think like I know that you've been on The Magicians, which I think is more of a drama, right? But
Yeah, it's like fantasy drama, kind of.
I'm friends with Hale Appleman, so it's really cool that
Oh,
yeah, he's a friend of mine.
oh my God, that's so awesome. Maybe Matt told me that.
Yeah. Anyway, sidebar. But what's weird about being in a comedy room? It's like in a drama room, you have the storytelling, the characters, the arcs, all that stuff. But in a comedy room, as a writer, there's like an extra layer of intimidation.
Of like pitching always.
You have to be funny. You have to make people laugh, and that I have to say, like in my life, like one of the most horrible feelings that will ever happen to you is to be in a room full of some of the funniest people you've ever met, who've like written for like won Emmys for shows like King of the Hill.
Yeah.
To pitch a joke and have it just die is just like having your heart ripped out. So it's very intense, but it also good. It's like going to boot camp, and it makes you have to be funny, and you don't pitch until you have something really good to pitch. And I had to learn that the hard way.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, it's like soul wrenching. Like
Yeah.
the only thing, it's funny when you said the thing that came to mind first, and this just goes to show how memorable it was for me and how traumatic it was I had a screen test for this like CBS show 10 years ago.
For a second. Yeah.
When when calls come in, it pauses everything.
Okay.
I just want to make sure this person doesn't call. They might call me back again. Oh God, this is so ridiculous! I forgot to put it on airplane. No, I can't. Call you back. Oh God, it looks like a ransom note. The way I just sent that. Okay.
Into your world.
It's like my phone is resting on my computer, and I'm like trying to like claw around it to text something that looks like a word message. Anyways, what that? Oh yeah, so I was in a screen test literally a decade ago, and one of like the most prolific television directors of all time was in there, because it was like he was like one of the EPs on the show, plus all these executives. And so literally this guy whose work I've been watching since I was literally a child is in there. And I remember my zipper broke on my pants right before my screen test. And I was like, oh, it's a comedy. So a really good icebreaker will be if I go in and make a little joke about my zipper, but like not in a creepy way, because I was also a little, well, no, I was still an adult. But I was like, I totally wasn't trying to go with like the creepy joke, which I totally would a lot of the time, but not in a screen test. That's not the time to take that risk. And I'll never remember going in and like making like my little joke that I made up like before I went in, and it was just dead silent. And I was like, the most successful television director of all time doesn't think I'm funny, and neither does anyone at CBS. And then I had to go into my screen test, and I was like,
I don't know how
I didn't get it.
Do it.
Spoiler alert.
I don't know how you go through it, because it's like when you're a writer, it's like mostly your writing that's being looked at, but as an actor, it's like you're bringing your whole like soul into a room and you're being judged and looked at. It seems so much harder to me. I couldn't do it, so I have a lot of admiration for what you do.
Thank you. I needed to hear that, because people have always said that, but because I've been writing more lately, like I literally have a pilot that I wrote being read in a writer's group on Sunday virtually. And it's the first time I've ever had my work be read out loud is this coming Sunday. And last night, sending it to everybody, I was like, and then I was like, no, it's harder for writers. And so now I believe that as a writer, you show more of yourself. So maybe we're all just vulnerable people showing every part of our beings.
It's also just like, with writing, you can stay home most of the time, write your stuff, and like email it in. And I remember when I was on The Real Hills, there was an audition from one of my episodes for a character who had a loud cough during a church service. And I had to go to the auditions for that. And it was like 10 guys drove in from all over LA to literally come into a room just to cough. And whoever
that was it.
That was it. They were just like, and whoever had like the funniest cough got the job. And I was like, oh my God, these poor people, like this is their day. They're like in this room coughing and they're going to have to go home now. I don't know. There's just something about brutal.
It's hilarious.
Yeah.
This industry, I once went to an audition and all I had to do was sleep. I like slated, I think, And then they're like, okay, just lay down on the couch just for a commercial and just pretend to sleep. And I'm like, what? I just drove all the way into Hollywood for this? I drove over the hill for this?
No, I mean, it's crazy. I'm sure you've had weirder things too that you've done. I mean, the stuff that actors have to do in this town are crazy. So I have a lot of admiration for you.
Totally. Thank you. And same for you, especially now that I've been writing more. And I'm telling you, sending out that script was like, I had to hit up one of my producer friends and I'm like, tell me to send it. Just tell me to send it.
That's
so
good. If you're nervous, it means that it's good. I mean, sharing something personal, which is great.
That's what I'm going to tell myself between now and Sunday when we read it and I find out what people really think. I'll be like, it's just so good that it was so vulnerable. That's why I was scared, because it was just too brilliant.
I think if you're not nervous to share what you wrote, then you didn't write anything very good, personally.
You know what? I do agree with that. That's a good point. And like, it is good to do things in life that scare you, because if you're just comfortable all the time, then are you making progress?
Yeah, totally. Like, I put a chicken in the oven before we started this, and I didn't know if it's going to go, if it's going to overcook while we're talking, but it's a risk.
Oh, no.
And
I don't want to ruin your beautiful food. I mean,
no,
you have cookbooks in the world.
we're 20 minutes in. It needs another 10, 15 minutes. It's going to be fine. But
okay, good.
Can we cover all the like education stuff? I mean, I feel like I wanted to make sure, like I said,
I've just been having so much fun chatting with you about art in general. I was like, why are we doing this chat? No, totally. But I guess one thing I was wondering was, what did you grow up in New York? What was the school district that you were in before you went to college?
Well, I grew up on Long Island until I was 11, and then we moved to Boca Raton, Florida. So I went to high school. Yeah, I went to high school in Florida at Spanish River High School, which was a huge high school and had 3,000 students in it. So it was kind of enormous.
Oh my God.
And and so my Florida education, it was an interesting place. Like, I had some great teachers in that giant public school, and some of them, I can even just say her name, like Mrs. Stenner was like this amazing AP English teacher who had us read like really great books and was so smart. And I remember we read Ralph Ellison's The Invisible Man.
Oh, cool.
All write songs about it, and just like really kind of interesting projects. And I don't know, those teachers are absolutely still such a part of my psychology and how I go through my life. So yeah. I
love that, especially because like that's the field that you're in now, and I know it means that both my parents and my brother are all teachers. And I know it means, they all work in elementary through high school.
Okay.
And knowing that like something they taught or even like a sentence they said, like hit home with the student after they graduate means the world to them. So I love that like these teachers that were English teachers, right? They're both literature.
Oh yeah, all my teachers. Yeah, I think English was the class that I always loved the most. I didn't love history. I struggled with history for some reason. Weirdly, I was math, but I don't know how that fits into anything. But yeah,
it's the opposite for me. I was like math, but history, yes.
I didn't get history. Like, history just felt like rote memorization. Like you just have to memorize facts, right? And it was like I just didn't like memorizing. I don't know. I feel like my understanding of history is always better if I could read a great book or a great novel, and then I kind of get it that way. But just like the king after, or who, all that stuff.
Yeah, memorizing dates and facts isn't fun. So yeah, I guess actually history started. I did have some good history teachers when I was younger, but started getting better and more interesting in college years, when it was more like, like studying it and deducing your own thoughts about history rather than just like, 1664 and blah, 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 and this and that.
I think it's actually a good testament to like the importance of teachers, because I don't think I ever had any great history teachers.
Yeah.
And like the math class that I struggled the most in was calculus. I tried to do calculus and I didn't do well in high school. And then when I went to college again, and my teacher in college was this amazing teacher who was a great calculus teacher, and I got an A. And so it was like my first experience of like, oh, if you have a great teacher, then any subject can suddenly be opened up to you. So, that's
so true. I mean, really, a great teacher can absolutely change the trajectory of literally your life.
Yeah.
And that's why it is so important. Like why we're here to create CA is that is Create Say is all about getting equitable arts education in California schools, but it's not college. It's, you know, elementary, middle, and high school. And those are, I mean, like you're saying, like those are the formative years where even if you get like just one great experience, one great teacher, one great class, I mean, those things all kind of go together.
Yeah.
In those formative years, that can literally change your life. That can literally be like, oh, I actually am really good at this. I have a talent for this and I love it. And that's now an option for my life, for my career. And it's so important.
I have a teacher. It's funny you just the way you just said that just brought back a memory, which is that my first grade teacher, her name was Mrs. Rosen, and she good at like reading and stuff. That she gave me Charlotte's Web to take home and read, and she was like, "You should read this book." And I remember like feeling special because Charlotte's Web. So yeah, I mean, it's like that little moment.
I love that.
In first grade, it's like I don't think about that now, but it's like, oh wait, that probably had a lot of like impact later on, you know. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the things you don't realize when you're young, like how much it shapes you as you're older and in your life and your career and everything. Well, thank you for joining me. Everyone can follow your name on Instagram is Amateur Gourmet, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So give me a follow, and we'll have to meet up in real life and talk the business and writing and.
I would love that, especially if you cooked. Maybe I'm just gonna like totally throw that on you.
I would love to cook. So yeah, come on over. I'll make.
Yes. I would love that. Well, thank you so much for chatting. I like seriously had so much fun chatting with you. I like forgot for a second that I was supposed to talk about like things. I'm like, no, I'm just gonna like hang out with Adam for a little bit. But seriously, I loved hearing about your experience in school and your career and everything, and how impactful all that stuff has been. And enjoy your chicken tonight.
Yeah, thank you.
And I can't wait to try some of your other delicacies at another time.
All right. Well, thanks, Brittany. It was so nice talking to
Cool.
you.
Thanks, Adam. Have a good one. Bye. Bye, everybody. Don't forget to sign the pledge. CreateCA.org. Go sign the pledge now. Oops. Am I still going? I didn't mean for that to be so abrupt. Go sign the pledge now. But really, go sign the pledge now. Bye.